Hello and welcome to Unacademy IAS, a one stop destination for all the English medium civil services aspirants. Starting today, the new income tax rules 2026 have come into force. Right now, individuals pay income taxes either under old tax regime or the new income tax regime. The government of India, under the new income tax rules, has made certain changes under deductions as well as exemptions. Let's compare and contrast which income tax regime will provide you the maximum benefits by incorporating the latest changes announced by the government of India. And accordingly, you can plan for your taxes. Before I start, here is a very important announcement. This is a golden opportunity for all the aspirants who are preparing for the civil services. Unacademy is conducting UCSC Plus 2026 on April 11th. There are two slots, one at 11 a.m. and the second one at 5 p.m. According to your convenience, choose a slot, register for the test, appear for the test. Even before the UPSC will test you, you can test yourself. And if you score very good number of marks, you stand a chance to win cash rewards up to 8 lakh rupees. Do not miss out. Those interested, register using the link provided in the description below. The Government of India replaced the 65-year-old Income Tax Act of 1961 with Income Tax Act of 2025, framed rules regarding the implementation which has come into force starting today, that is the first day of a new financial year. Now, with the new rules, there have been certain changes in context of the allowances provided for the taxpayers, the exemptions, deductions, etc. Let's understand how can you benefit under the old taxation regime or the new taxation regime using the new provisions announced by the government. First and foremost, what are the slab structures under both of the tax regimes? I'll be using short form OTR to represent old tax regime and NTR to represent new tax regime. The government of India has made it clear there will be no changes in the slab structure. Absolutely no changes in the slab structure for the income that you generate in the financial year 27, that is the tax year. Terminology is tax year now. So first, no changes in the slab structure. Then what are the important points of comparison between old tax regime and the new tax regime? When you're filing the income taxes, let's say for the financial year 27, later when you're filing the income taxes, by default, the system will take the filing under the new tax regime. Please remember this. You will have to ensure that you will be using the tab, that is, you will be choosing the old tax regime if you want to claim the exemptions as well as the deductions that you want to claim under the OTR. This is the first and the most important point. Now, second very important point between OTR and NTR is the concept of deductions. The idea of deductions. The government of India, until very recently, has been promoting taxpayers to shift from the old tax regime to the new tax regime. Because under the new tax regime, the compliance burden on the taxpayers is very less. What do you mean by compliance here? You do not have to submit a lot of documentation to prove and claim lot of deductions. Because under the new tax regime, most of the deductions that are allowed under the old tax regime have been removed. Most of them, which are the most famous, I'll explain to you in a minute. Right, so the deductions are allowed under the old tax regime. In fact, the government of India, under the new rules, has provided more relaxations in terms of the deductions. So the deductions, a lot of them are not allowed under the new tax regime, and they are allowed under the old tax regime. Now, what kind of deductions am I talking about here? Let's start. There is an allowance in the form of house rent allowance. Very recently, the government of India has expanded the list of the metro cities which are covered And this list has been expanded to 8 cities, total 8 cities now, where a higher deduction can be claimed by the tenants under the HRA. There is also educational allowance, there is a hostel allowance, using which, assuming you are using the maximum limit, exhausting the limit by the way, and which is allowed for 2 children, annually you can claim a deduction of around 2.8 lakh rupees. There is also deduction allowed in terms of meal vouchers, etc., where you can claim a deduction of up to 1.05 lakh rupees. The health insurance charges that you pay, right? There also you can claim a deduction of up to 75,000 rupees. The home interest payment, you can also claim a deduction under section 24B up to 2 lakh rupees. So there are a lot of deductions that are allowed to you when you opt for old tax regime. Does it mean that no deductions are allowed at all under the new tax regime? That will be incorrect. You can claim deductions in the form of the NPS contributions that are done by your employer, You can also claim the deductions in the form of the contribution that you have done to Agnipath scheme, etc. But when you compare the new tax regime to the old tax regime, one thing is very much visible. You will be getting lot of deductions. You can claim lot of deductions under the old tax regime, but the scope of this in the new tax regime is very negligible, very, very less, which means you can reduce your tax liability using the old tax regime. Now, before you come to a conclusion, listen to me very carefully. Is it that easy to claim deductions under the old tax regime? Absolutely no. There will be a huge compliance burden. There is a huge compliance burden if you want to claim the deductions. For example, according to the new rules, 2026 income tax rules, if you want to claim HRA as a deduction, now you will have to provide lot of documentation. You will have to establish the relationship between you, that is the tenant, as well as the owner of the home, etc. So the documentation burden, compliance burden under the OTR is very high, and under the new NTR, that is a new income tax regime, it's very, very less. In addition to this, before you jump to a conclusion, in that case, even with compliance burden, I want to choose OTR only. Listen to this particular point of difference very carefully. In the old tax regime, if your taxable income is up to 5 lakh rupees, if your taxable income is up to 5 lakh rupees, right, the income tax burden will be zero. Whatever taxes are there, they will be rebated. But this is applicable when your taxable income is up to 5 lakh rupees. Whereas in the new income tax regime, up to 12 lakh rupees, if your income is up to 12 lakh rupees, the tax burden on you will be 0 rupees. In addition to this, you can also claim a standard deduction. Of up to 75,000 rupees. So these are the fundamental differences between the old income tax regime as well as the new income tax regime. Now, which suits you the best? Ultimately, that is a question, right? Which income tax regime suits you the best? This is the tip. If you are somebody who is into savings, who has made a lot of investments, let's say in the form of PPF, in the form of, let's say, investments in the, let's say in the expenditure in the form of health insurance, you have taken a housing loan, etc. You have children who are there in the hostel, whose expenditure, right, let's say the educational expenditure is borne by you, etc. In that case, the old tax regime will provide you the maximum benefit. Again, I'm saying this, especially looking at the new, right, let's say the range of allowances or the threshold that has been provided in terms of allowances for education as well as hostel. The old tax regime will provide you the benefit. If you're somebody who doesn't want to fall into all of this compliance burden, You do not have so much of, let's say, savings and investment into all of this. You don't want to keep a documentation. You don't want to keep on proving to the government that you have invested money in this, etc. Then for that, the new tax regime is suitable for you. According to various experts, if your deductions that you want to claim are up to 4.2 to 4.5 lakh rupees, new tax regime makes sense. If your deductions are above and over that, then old tax regime absolutely makes sense. Because with the new range, or let's say the new limits that the government has announced under the rules 2026, you will be able to save a huge amount of taxes by claiming or by using the old tax regime or filing income taxes under the old income tax regime. So, which one suits you the best? Choose according to that and start planning for the taxation according to that. So, that is the discussion I wanted to have in the context of the new income tax rules of 2026, how they will have an impact on the old income tax regime as well as the new income tax regime. If you have liked the session, do not forget to hit the like button. If you are yet to join our YouTube channel, kindly do it right now. Thank you. Have a great day.